friend and brother, Duncan Sunchimba. I'm a businessman, I'm an author, I'm also a pastor. We have a church, we meet at Zip by the Zip hostels in the dining or somewhere there every Sunday. I want to talk about how to start a business without money. This has been the general complaint of most of the people for not starting a business. A lot of people are excited about the results in business. When people begin to do business, they make it, they begin to drive big, they begin to live big, they begin to build big mansions, and they're excited about the results. But how to start? Usually most of them procrastinate, and the main reason that people give is they do not have money, they do not have the capital. Now I want to explain on how you can start a business without money. One thing that you need to understand is that about business is that first of all, you must have a very strong intention to do business. That's number one thing. You must be decided. You have got to make a decision to do business with or without money. A decision has to be made, because when we talk about starting business without money, we are talking about getting into the business, beginning to make money without you investing anything in terms of money, kwacha, dollar, pound, whatever you can call it. The starting point is a decision. Secondly, it's an idea. Every business is an idea. An idea is an asset enough for you to begin with. When you put an idea into a project proposal, someone can put money into that, because an idea that is well packaged in a business plan or a project proposal is an asset and it attracts money. That's one thing that you need to understand. So you cannot just be there complaining that you don't have the money and you've never done anything about how you want to start a business, about your desire to start a business. Come up with an idea, put it on paper. That's the first step. We encourage people, you have got to learn to start from where you are with what you have. That's the other thing. Now, when we talk about capital, it may not just be money. There are other things which might be termed as capital, which you may not consider as capital. Some of them might be tangible, some of them might be intangible. For example, when we talk about tangible things, we might be talking about also, maybe, for example, you complain that you don't have capital, you don't have money, but you have a very big phone. But you say, no, I can't start business because I don't have money. Sell that phone. That's enough capital to begin with. When I started business, I started with 200 kwacha. And I grew, built things, built businesses, built beautiful houses and stuff like that. But from 200 kwacha, what matters is your determination to start from as little as you have and begin to grow from there. The most important thing about starting is starting. You must be ready to start. Secondly, you must have determination. That's very important. I remember I went to Livingstone somewhere to teach business, and I was training people. And then I was teaching on the same subject. This woman had the same complaint. I can't do business because I don't have capital. Then I explained that look around in your house, what do you have? Can you sell a TV? Maybe you have an extra TV. Maybe you have an extra fridge. Can you sell it? That can give you a kickstart. That can be a starting point. That can give you something that you can realize. And this lady sat down and began to think about herself. She realized she has a lot of clothes and a lot of shoes. She gathered most of those things and she took them to the market. She sold them as salaula. She raised about 7,000 kwacha. She started a business in a small shop, and she started doing very well. Up to now, she's still in the game of business because I showed her. She thought she just needed to have this tangible money. She could not realize that there are things within her reach that she could sell and start from there. I remember we were training pastors and I taught on the same subject. And I taught pastors, look around, what do you have? One old man was never done business before. He started thinking, he realized there is a wreck of a car which has been packed within his yard. They've removed everything. It's just a skeleton of, the body. And then what he did is he had to cut it into pieces and sold it as, scrap metal. he lays about 400 kwacha. That 400 kwacha started buying those simple mattresses and started selling them, and he grew. He started buying more, and he opened a shop. Up to now, he's still into business, and he's still very, very comfortable. This is a gentleman who did not have the financial capital, and he stayed for a long period of time. You know, he's an elderly guy. Probably he's around 60 years old. And he has always lived a life that he does not have the money to start business. But I showed him that when you look around, there's always something that you can spot, something that you can sell, something that on which you can put your hand on and sell it, and that gives you a start. Now, those are intangible assets. So you can check around and look at things that you don't need that much. Sell it. That can give you capital. You know, and then we can also look at intangible capital, intangible asset, something that may not be into, you know, something substantial. For example, there are some of you, you have been to school, at secondary school, maybe you are learning accounts. Most people are running Tunte, but they cannot calculate, they cannot account for their business, they cannot calculate profit and loss and stuff like that. They don't know how to do their books, you know, in line their business, so that they know whether they're making progress or they're not making progress, whether someone has stolen, who has been selling or working in that shop or not. They can't tell. They operate on faith, and most of them, people steal from them, and they don't realize someone has been stealing. You know, you did accounts, you can approach some people and start putting their books in order and start accounting for them, probably once a week, and you create a system for them, and they start paying you something. That's something intangible. You learned it at school. You know, you cannot just put that knowledge away. So it's very, very important that you can look within. There are some of you are strong guys. You know, you can ask somebody, for example, they might be needing a garden behind their backyard, and you might start doing those to my little pieceworks, and just humble yourself and start working for people. And this time you make a little money, you put it aside as a saving. Each time you do that piecework, you put it aside as saving until you have enough money. When people say, I don't have a job, I don't have money to start a business, this is why I'm suffering, that is laziness. There is always somewhere where you can start from. You know, when people are determined, there is nothing that can stop them. Nothing stops a determined human being. A determined human being can never be limited. He can never be confined. He can never be put in a box that he cannot do this. We have a lot of people. Some of them, they were retrenched. They just read newspaper at home, or they just watch TV, you know, from morning up to evening. I don't have a job. I don't have money to be in capital. We are suffering. And for years, they have lived like that. That's a choice. And this is why I want you to understand that to be poor, it's a choice. To be rich, it's a choice. The rich, don't call them Satanists. Those who have made it big because they made a decision to stand on their 2 feet, fight, work extremely hard, creatively, they found their way. Don't call them Satanists. In Africa, we have this habit of calling everybody a Satanist. Whoever has made it, you can make it too. To make it, it's a choice. To succeed, it's a choice. It's a decision. To be rich, it's a choice. Also, to be poor, it's a choice. You need to understand that as well. So you can look at the intangible and the tangible. Some of you, it's a talent. I know of a young lady that I was speaking to. You know, she used to suffer a lot. And yes, she can, you know, she can plait people's hair. You know, she's very good. She's very good at that. So I sat her down and said, look, why don't you begin like this? Do it for free in the neighborhood. Do it pretty well. You know, gather kids. Do it pretty well. Just for a start to market yourself. Do it for free for a few weeks, maybe for the first month. Just do it for free and enjoy doing it. But just do it with excellence. After that, then start charging them. They'll start paying for it and you start making money. That's how you enter into business. You might just open a salon, but you must have a starting point. You know, most of the great guys who have succeeded in a big way, they started with first offering free services to advertise themselves, to penetrate in the market, to put themselves up there so that people are able to tell that this one is able to offer these services, this one is able to offer this product. And right now they are big, they don't do things for free anymore because they're established and people are paying for their services. You know, one thing that I've come to learn about life is that when you talk about services, that people offer different types of services. People are willing to pay for excellence. I remember I went in a particular shop, I wanted a t-shirt, and this guy brought a t-shirt and he said, Nalami Fumeshako. It's cheap. I said, my friend, I've not complained. If it's quality, I don't care paying 1,000 for it. If it's exactly what I'm looking for and it's high level quality, I don't care paying 1,000 for it. So don't bring a cheap thing to me and say it's cheap, that I'm Fumeshako. I'm not looking for a cheap thing. Something that I don't appreciate, something that has no value, something that has no quality. Give me value and I'm going to pay for it. Every human being who has money is always like that. They are ready to pay for any value. And when you look at, people sell a very expensive vehicle, they don't put the price. They just advertise the car and explain how it works. And people pay for it. And they buy. So you can start business without money. When you look at the starting, like what I've said, from all those angles, I think the most important, the bottom line is determination, being decided, making a decision to start business. Like I said, the most difficult part of doing business is starting itself. You can start anytime. You can start from anywhere. You can start from where you are. You can start with little. You can start from where you are with determination. It does not matter how little it is, whatsoever that you have. With determination, it's very possible that you can rise through ranks and become big in what you're doing. The other example that I can give you, I remember I was selling computers a long time ago, and I could not find customers. It was very difficult to find customers. And I was talking to this guy. This guy was broke and stranded, very stranded guy. And he came to me and I was showing him. He said, look, I'm selling these computers, but I don't have clients. Then he said, okay, fine, let's agree. If I sell these computers, how much will you give me? Will you give me a cut? I said, no problem. Then we agreed on a cut. This guy, the only thing he did is he designed the poster. And he came to me and asked for money for typing and printing and everything. I said, okay, fine. And then he went, stuck the poster and he put his numbers there. Then he started bringing customers. Each computer he sold, from the money, I put into posters and stuff like that. He made money, but just go and stick those posters. It's an idea, and he worked as a middleman. He saw those computers and he made some cool cash from me, and I gave him respect. He thought of something that I could not do, and he did it, and I paid him for it. It was so easy, At some point, I began to think as if, is this man stealing from me? How do I just begin to give him every cut in every computer I sell? This guy got money from me to make photocopies, to go do typing, and now his customers are coming in his name, and now he's making money out of me. It's called business intelligence. This guy had no money, but he had the idea, he had the brain, and he approached me, and he did something that I could not do, and he made money. That's how people make money. For example, we have a lot of people who can sell things in Soko and just sit there waiting for clients. Now, if you are very good at moving around, talking to people, you can go and do a deal with them. They give you stuff on credit, you go sell. You make a markup, you give them their money, and you get yours. You can always start from where you are with what you have and hit it big. It's all about a decision. It's all about a determination. One thing that I've learned about life is that life will always put you where you are, even if it's unpleasant, and you always be on the same level if you don't learn to make a move. Making a move, it's very intentional. You have to be intentional. When we're talking about being intentional, we're talking about you have to be practical. That's very critical. I know of a lot of young women who are being kept. They only think of getting married. All these problems will end. Look, marriage, it's not salvation from poverty. Marriage was not designed to be a salvation from poverty. You don't wait until you get married for you to become successful. You don't have to wait to marry a rich man for you to be a rich woman. You don't have to. Such marriages, usually when a woman enters like that, they don't get respect. I've always believed that for you to earn your respect, you go with something into marriage so that you can present something on the table. As a man presents something on the table, you must bring value to the table of marriage. As a man brings something, you also bring something. That way you'll be respected. Most of the women who are abused and they can't go anywhere are those who are kept like property, who can't do any business, who can do anything, who can sell anything. Listen to me. Find something to sell. Find something to sell. Find some services to offer. Before you get married, I'm one person who believes in the fact that after 2 kids, they should not get married until they are resourceful on their own. They will never get married. I've given them a task. So when you grow up, you not get married until I'm able to prove that you are able to make your money. You can build your own house. You can buy your own car. You can pay your own bills. So that what you look for in a man is simply companionship. Not to be kept, not to be sustained. Because what a man can do, a woman can do. It's all about believing in yourself and being determined to do any idea that closes your mind and trying it out. That's how life is all about. So I encourage young women, as you listen to me, wherever you are, start setting something. You can start with 100 kwacha. Go ask those who make fitumboa. They'll show you. You get this 20 kwacha, you buy flour. You get this, you buy cooking oil. You buy this, you buy yeast. You buy this, you buy that. And they'll show you how to make those fitumboa. And you start standing by the corner and you start selling. What is important is to be disciplined, to have a goal. Very, very important. You can start from anywhere. And usually one thing that I've come to learn is that big business people, they started from a very humble level. But because they were determined, they grew. Most people start from nothing. Those are people they call self-made businessmen. Though I don't believe in that theory, but let's call it for what common people call it. The reason why I say I don't believe in that theory is that, all of us, whether you started on your own, there are contributions of others in your life which has put you where you are. Nobody succeeds alone. They say it takes a village to raise a child. There are roles that other people will have to play or have played for you to be where you are. So you can't say I'm self-made. When you say I'm self-made, in short, you are simply saying there's never been a contribution of any human being for you to be where you are. It's everything entirely up to yourself. Even customers, that's a contribution. Even customers, even people gave you advice. Even people came and gave you counsel. Even your wife was washing for you. So there are all kinds of people who made certain contribution to your life. There are all kinds of people who played certain significant roles. And as they played those roles, they helped you, they pushed you, they gave you advice, they gave you encouragement. They contributed in one or the other. And here you are. So one thing that you need to understand is that you've got to start small and you've got to start humble and you've got to appreciate that. The reason why you need to appreciate starting small is this. When you talk about how to do business without money, the reason why you have to appreciate about starting small from whatsoever level is this. You have got to learn how to fail. You have got to learn how to handle small money before you learn how to handle big money. Because when you are trying to do trial and errors on small monies, as you are trying to learn the business, the loss is very minimal because you're dealing with small money. You're on a small level. The impact of the loss, the impact of the mistake is not much. Can you imagine you get a big loan, you have never done business before, you get millions of loans and you make a mistake. The loss is in millions. You begin to incur losses that you can't recover from. But when you learn the ABC of business right at the infant stage because you started small, listen to me, the business dynamics are the same on a low level and on a high level. They are the same. The mistakes that people make when they are small are the same mistakes that people make who are rich up there when they are playing in the big league trying to do big deals for big people. The mistakes are the same. So when you learn the dynamics at the infant stage, it will help you to be able to handle big business on a high level. Very, very important. This is why even if you got a pension, please don't put in a lot of money when you are just starting. We encourage people, go buy property, go buy some buildings. and then get some little, then start experimenting with little until you know what you're doing, until you're sure. Then you can pump in a lot of money. But at the inception, start small. Very, very important. The moment you don't do that, it's going to cost you. And when it costs you in a big way. So that as I conclude on how to start business without money, the other thing that I want you to understand is that your mind works like a computer. When you say, how can I start business? When you say how, when you ask that question, your mind will begin to search, it'll begin to look for answers. Before you realize you have an answer. Questions provokes answers. When you begin to ask yourself questions, right where you are, answers will begin to come. Answers will begin to come. This is why people don't ask themselves questions. They don't make progress, because questions provoke answers. The answers that you don't have in life is because of questions you have never asked. So right where you are, as you watch me today, ask yourself some questions. How can I start a business from where I am? Some of you are in employment. The question is, how can I run a business while working? It's going to begin to give you answers. What is it, that business that I can do without my presence? Because most of my times I'm at work. As you ask those questions, answers begins to come. So for answers you have never had, it's because of questions you have never asked. And you also need to understand that the quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers. People don't ask intelligent questions, they don't get good answers. If you find a person stuck somewhere, they are stuck because they do not ask themselves questions. They accept the status quo and live like that. So it's very, very important. As you plan to start a business, begin to ask yourself some questions. Begin to ask yourself some questions. Answers will begin to naturally come. Quality answers. And as those answers begin to come, you begin to recover. You begin to find yourself. You begin to come up with things that could be done. You begin to look at so many possibilities. Before you realize you have a beginning point, you have something that you can do. You have where you can start from. And like I said, the most difficult part about starting a business is starting itself. Start from where you are with what you have. Think of intangible assets, things that are within you. It might be a gift. Think about tangible assets, like I gave you examples. It might be clothes, it might be a cell phone that you have. And there's no money that is too little you can start with. You can start with as little as 100 kwacha. The only question you can ask yourself is, what can I do with 100 kwacha, which can help me multiply this until I become big? As you ask those questions, you begin to find answers. Thank you so very much for listening to me. I'm your friend and brother, Duncan Sumchimba. God bless you. I'm a pastor, an author. Like I said in my introductory remarks, we have a church at Zip Hostels where we are found every Sunday at 10 hours. Zip Hostels in the dining hall. God bless you. Thank you so very much.